Investigative Journalism Lesson 3 is on making short writing powerful. In any sport, hobby, or academic area, there is always something that we can learn to become better. We all look to experts to learn from them to help us become better in things. For example, when we play sports, we look to our coaches, older athletes, we watch videos, we read articles to learn different techniques to make us better. For all the other kinds of hobbies that we can do, we might take advice from experienced friends, from our parents, from aunts and uncles, or other relatives or people we know that participate in the same hobby that we do. Regardless of what it is, we're always looking to learn and become better. We look to experts. We do the same thing in our writing. We look at mentor pieces and we look to see what techniques we can use from them to become better writers. And that's what we're going to do today. There are 4 techniques this week that we are going to focus on how to make short writing powerful. Just because in our news reports we're not using that many words doesn't mean those words can't be powerful and leave a lasting impact on our readers. The first technique is to include specific, vivid physical details. These are words and phrases that will help our readers to make a picture in their minds of what the scene and the event that we are describing. The next technique is dare to use a single elegant word or a grace note in otherwise straightforward prose. So this is where we are looking at the types of words we are choosing, the vocabulary words, and finding words that are strong and descriptive that will stand out and stick in the reader's mind. The third technique we are looking at this week is end the passage with a delightful jolt and a clever ending. So to tie the ending together that leaves our readers thinking and leaves them with something that they can think about after they're done reading or writing. And finally, keep it all focused. It all has to be what it's really about. So we're not going off on other tangents and talking about different topics. We're staying focused on the event or the issue that we're discussing in our writing. Let's look at an example. Here's a mentor news story that we can use as an example. Let's read it together. 3 students were seen fighting in the gym at school for global studies today over who would be chosen as the center during a class basketball game. The game was an opportunity for global star players to shine in the gym. That's not what happened though. Instead, there was pandemonium. The students were girls from class 801 and each was a star player. Sharon was the tallest. Rachel was the fastest. Ruby was the fiercest. Each wanted that center spot. There's more than one forward in basketball. There's more than one guard, but there's only one center. To be center is to be the megastar. Witnesses at the event saw it go from bad to worst. First, the girls talked about it. Then they jumped for it. Then they shoved for it. Then, suddenly, there were girls like puppies rolling on the floor trying to get the ball. Bystanders were kicked. The circle of girls around the players yelped. Then Coach Abrams' long arms reached for the back of the girls' jerseys. Abrams' decision was quick as she threw out the girls out of the game. None of the 3 would play center today. Those stars had just imploded. So we're going to look in this mentor piece to see where we can find examples of those 4 techniques that we talked about. So let's look together. So our first technique that we're looking at here is for vivid details. So we're looking for words and phrases and sentences that really help the reader to paint a picture in their mind. So I might find vivid details down where they were describing each of the characters, right? So when they were talking that Sharon was the fastest, Rachel was the tallest. Here's where those vivid details, where they're giving the reader specifics so that they can really paint a picture. Now I can visualize who these characters were. I also could have put this arrow down here where they were talking about the fight that went on. Those are also really specific details as well. Next are the elegant words. So those vocabulary words that stand out, right? So there's a couple here. In this first paragraph, I might choose the word pandemonium, right? I'm talking about how that there was kind of chaos and it was a little crazy, but using the word pandemonium kind of sticks out. I also could have chosen the word megastar to describe the center, right? So down here at the bottom, that the stars had imploded. Imploded is a really strong vocabulary word that paints a really great picture in my mind. So those are some examples. Next is the ending jolt, the part that brings the whole piece back together. So this is down here in the bottom where we hear about what the coach's decision was, right? The coach decided to throw all of the girls out of the game and that none of them would play today. Finally, a focused topic. So that's any area where I'm staying focused on this event. I'm not talking about other issues. I'm not going off on other tangents, right? So here I can see that I'm focused. I give my focus up here in the beginning, right? That there was a fight in the gym, and the whole rest of the piece is about this fight in the gym, that it doesn't stray from that topic. So you can see that in this news story, I found an example of each of our techniques for making our short writing powerful. That even though in this example, this mentor, that the writer didn't write a lot of words, it's a really powerful piece where we are at the end, we know what happened, we can paint a picture in our minds, and we know what happened in the end, what the coach decided. So let's talk about what you're going to do today. So this week, you are going to listen or read the mentor news story on the attached document that I'll show you in a minute. And then you're going to do the same thing that we just did together. You're going to drag the arrows to label the examples of each powerful writing strategy into that mentor news story. And once you have moved all 4 arrows and you're making sure that where you've pointed them is an example of the writing technique, then you'll turn in the assignment for credit. So let's take a look at the document you'll be using to complete this week's assignment. So here are the directions. If you want to hear the directions read to you, here's the audio button up at the top. So first, we're going to read or listen to the news story on slide number 2. And then you're going to drag the arrows to label each of the powerful writing strategies. And then you'll turn in the assignment. So let's take a look at slide number 2. This is where you're going to be doing all of your work this week. So we're going to read this piece, or you can listen to it up here if you click the audio button. And then you can drag these arrows to at least one example of each powerful writing strategy. So you'll find one place where the author used vivid details. You'll find at least one example of an elegant word. You'll find where the ending jolt is, the part of the ending that brings the whole thing together, that gives us some kind of a conclusion. And then you'll find areas where the topic stays focused. And it gives us what the viewpoint is, and so that we know what the topic is, so we don't go off on tangents and go in other places. And then when you're finished, you're going to make sure you go back into Google Classroom and turn in your assignment or mark as done so that you can get your credit for this week. Okay, so again, this week our focus is on how we can take our short writing and make it powerful, make it pack a punch, make it so that it leaves our readers with a strong impact as when they're finished. If you have any questions, please send me an email. Otherwise, I can't wait to see what you come up with. Good luck.